Hello and welcome to Julia McNeil Crafts. Today we are crafting with the brand new Libby's Bakery collection. I am going to grab my journal, some craft goodies and have a little play. I hope you'll join me. So first off, I just want to apologise for the lighting. I enjoy a craft space at the bottom of the garden with a massive window, and it's absolutely lovely. It lets in loads of natural light. That didn't prove to be too good for filming on this occasion. Thankfully I noticed fairly quickly and rectify it. So firstly, I'll apologise for that. And then I'll get on and tell you what I'm doing. So I have taken the brand new Sherbet Fizz paper pack. If you want to see this in more detail, I can add in the description box below the video where we show all the products that are part of this new collection. I've just taken various elements of the papers. I've deliberately gone for those that have got sort of green and blue tones because basically I'm wanting to create a base or grass for the elements of my scene to sit on. So I just kind of keep ripping and tearing and sort of slotting it in till it looks okay. I don't worry that the edges maybe aren't perfect at the bottom. As you can see, I quite like it to sit properly at the top. Any straight edges and bits and pieces that look a little bit unsightly now, we don't worry about that because we can sort that when we get to the stage where we're putting the elements in. As you can see, the lighting has improved. So what I am going to do again, I want to build a scene, so to add to that nod of there being a grass and a sky and a horizon, I have got the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Inks, a blending mat and a blending brush, and I am just bringing a bit of that colour around the edge of the page and along the horizon line. Also just along the bottom as well. I do think adding bits like that just makes it look multi-tonal and less flat, especially when you're doing techniques with papers. I just want to add a little bit more interest to the background because it is a wide open space there. So I have stamped the Grandma's Recipe background stamp with Mento Grey. Now at the beginning of this it looks a little bit strange. You can notice that I'm putting the cake house right in the sky. It's not sat on anything. That's because I'm looking for perspective in my picture and I'm wanting it to fill the whole space, and I know that I'm going to gradually move forward with the various elements. So that's what I'm going to do, work on the things that are in the back. So at first it looks like things are sort of floating in the air, as you can see with that pop cake there, but I know that I'm going to be building on that. So all of a sudden now that I've put that next image down, it starts to make sense. So I'm just playing with various cupcakes, various mushrooms and flowers to try and get an arrangement that I like. The other thing is when I stuck the torn paper down, I didn't glue it down completely, I just glued the bottom edge. That means at this stage I'm now able to sort of try and tuck in those elements into the grass line, as it were, so it gives a more fluid and natural look, and it's just allowing me to play with composition a little bit more easily than if I had that stuck down completely. So I'm at the stage now where I've got an overall thing that I like, but there's the occasional gap or the occasional straight edge that just looks a little bit funny to me, and then I'm using all of these little flowers and little candy swirls just to fill in some of those straight edges and gaps that I am not overly keen on. Once I've got that, I glue it all down and get on to the next stage, which is to use these Neo colours. So I normally use my Inktense pencils, but I thought I'd grab something different. These work very similar. They are a crayon that are water reactive. So I'm just sort of scribbling it down and then pulling out the colour with some water. I went with these because it had a softer blue. I don't really have a soft blue like that in my Inktense pencils. So I started off sort of scribbling and then pulling out the colour, but it was sort of leaving a little bit of a scratchy effect on the page. So then I switched to just taking the colour off the crayon with my brush, and I went around the whole design like that for a shadow area. Now to build up the grounding element so it looks like it's sat on something, I've just got a few different pencils and I'm literally just scribbling various elements so it looks like they are sat in the grass. And again, it's all these little tips and tricks that stop things looking like they're floating. As always, I am just finishing with a doodly border. I find it helps to frame it, and I went with the same doodle style as to the page next to me. So although they look different, they're still a cohesive look. Finally, I'm just adding a sentiment. I think this one says cupcakes are muffins that believe in miracles. So I'm cutting that down, and I'm also sort of pulling the sentiment apart a little bit so that I can spread it across my page a little bit more. Now the page is incredibly busy, so to make sure that the sentiment does actually stand out and you can see it, I am edging that in black. So I just tend to run my Pro marker against the edge of a card. I tend to pull towards me and then away from me, and that just creates a little bit of frame, and it means that there will be a break between what's behind it and the sentiment, which means your eye is much more likely to see the sentiment in the overall design. It's a tip that I use a lot. You can see I've done it on the other page as well, so it is one of my favourite techniques to do. And this is this page all finished and complete. I absolutely love how this turned out. I hope you do too. If you have enjoyed crafting with the Libby's Bakery collection, then stay tuned. On Saturday we will be making 3 cards with this collection. If you can't wait that long, you may want to check out this art journaling video here.